Hello, welcome back to another reading journal video. My name is Elaina, I'm a librarian, and this year I created my very first reading journal. I've been sharing my updates throughout the year, but today's video is going to be a little different. We had a couple viewer requests to focus on how I use Canva in my reading journal designs. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through how I use Canva to design my own printable stickers to use in my reading journal. I use these at the back of the journal to create a spread for each book that I read throughout the year. And I also use them in monthly stat pages at the front of my journal as well. Making your own stickers can be a lot more affordable than buying them online, and a lot more customizable too. If you have a die cut machine at home like a Cricut or a Silhouette die cut machine, you can kiss cut your own stickers and make them very fancy and professional, but it's even more cost effective if all you have is an inkjet printer. You can just print your designs from Canva onto sticker paper that I buy on Amazon. The link for the supplies that I use will be in the description box as always, and a link to the printable stickers that I have created will be in the Printables Google Doc, linked in the description box as well. So you're about to see me creating the printable stickers and a monthly stat spread for July, and then at the end I'll show you how they look in my reading journal. If any of the tips in this video are helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment and let me know what you use Canva for, and let's get into it. I do have Canva Pro. If you do not have Canva Pro, I think it's super worth it. It's affordable, and Canva can do so much, way more things than just work for your reading journal. I mean, I use it literally every day. So, not sponsored, but if Canva ever wanted to sponsor me, that would be like the most ideal sponsorship of my life. Okay, so here we are in Canva. The first tip that I have is to come up here to custom size, start a new document, and make it the same size as your reading journal. My reading journal is A5. It's pretty large, and it is 6 inches wide and 9 inches high. It's actually a little more than that, but I know that's how much workable space I have. So that's how much space I'm going to give myself so I can visualize the page. Okay, so here's a rough representation of a page in my reading journal. This just helps to give me an idea of spacing and how it's all going to look once I get it in there. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how I make the printable stickers that I use in the back of my reading journal to review each book that I read. Sometimes I will buy themed stickers on Etsy, and those stickers are always so high quality and really cute, but I can't afford to do that for every book that I read. So I've just been making them myself in Canva, and that's what I'm going to start out showing you. I'm going to start by grabbing the covers of the books that I'm going to do today. So I'm going to come to Goodreads, and from the Goodreads homepage, I'm just going to go to My Books and Read Books. And I have it sorted by date read so I can see them in chronological order. I have been doing them in chronological order in my reading journal, but the ones that I'm going to do today are not going to be in chronological order because, to be honest, I'm sick of making these book reviews, and I've just decided to start picking and choosing which ones I'm going to do. But you'll still get to see how I make them. So coming down here to see what I have, I think that I'm going to make a spread for the Caraval series. I'm going to combine all 3 of them into one review spread. I did read them back to back to back, so that's chronological. And I'm going to get the covers of the photos. So I'm going to click on the first book in the Caraval series, and then I'm just going to copy and paste the cover from Goodreads. You could also just Google an image of the cover. If you do that, I highly recommend making sure that the size of the photo is very large. You can filter in a Google search for photo size and just look for a large image. Otherwise, it could look a little blurry or not quite right when you resize it. But I found that the Goodreads ones work perfectly for me, and that's just easier. This is eyeliner, don't be alarmed. So I'm just going to copy the cover of Caraval and come over here to my design and paste it in. I'm just going to move it out of my way so I can go back and grab the covers for Legendary and Finale as well. Now I'm going to resize them, and there's two ways you can do this. You can just go to the corner and drag to resize the image however you'd like, sort of organically. But in my case, I want to make sure that they're all the exact same dimensions, and I personally always like to make them 2 inches high. It doesn't matter to me how wide the covers are, I just think that they look best in my reading journal spreads when they are 2 inches high. So I'm going to click Position. I'm going to lock the ratio so that they don't get all distorted and stretched out when I resize them. And then I'm going to just make the height 2 inches. And I'm going to repeat that for all the other covers. And you'll see that because I locked the first image, Canva automatically locked the ratio of the next image that I choose too. So Canva is so intuitive. They really make it easy for you. Okay, you guys get it. I love Canva. All right. 2 inches. Voila. And I'll just kind of put them on the page somewhere. It's nice when they're evenly spaced because it makes it easier to cut them out, but it doesn't really matter, So typically what I'll do when I'm reading is I will be thinking ahead of what symbols would look good in my reading journal later. And Caraval is perfect for this because there's so much symbolism, so many motifs in this series. I mean, it's just like, it's a very, very visual, vibey series. And don't worry, I won't be spoiling anything while we are doing this today. So some stickers for Caraval. This is going to hopefully take up an entire page. And of course, I want to make sure that I leave room for writing because on the page, I'm going to want to write some stats about the books. I'm going to want to write my thoughts. I don't want to totally cover this Canva page with stickers, but I want enough of them that I can cover a lot of the page, if that makes sense. And I typically try to make more stickers than I'll need. That way, when I print them out, if the colors aren't quite right on one of them, then I can just scrap it and use a different sticker. I make a little list of the symbols that would work well for each book that I review. So for Caraval, I wrote down circus stuff because it's a carnival setting, red roses, which are very symbolic in the book, apples, red earrings, top hat, balcony. That might be a hard one to incorporate, but I like to just brain dump any ideas that I have. A black heart tattoo, blue butterflies, and a magic coin. There's like 1,000 more things I could use from Caraval, but I'm just gonna start here and see what I can find. So in Canva, I'm gonna go to Elements, and I'm gonna go up to the search bar, and I'm just gonna start searching for stuff that might make a good sticker. I usually like to start with one that feels very iconic to me for the series. In this case, I think I'm gonna do the red roses. So I'm gonna search roses, and I'm gonna go to graphics, and you can see I have plenty to choose from. Oh my gosh, so many to choose from. I'm gonna grab a couple, and then as I create the rest of the stickers, I'll be able to determine which of these match the other stickers best. So let me grab this like big rose, this little curved rose branch. This one's a little more stylized, which might look good with the tattoo elements that I'm going to add. All right, yeah, I don't know if I'll actually use rose petals in the design, but it could be cool to just have like a couple, like this giant one, like falling down the page. That's an interesting idea. And as I'm clicking these petals, Canva is giving me magic recommendations. So these are other elements that look similar to the one that I've just put on the page. So I'm going to click See All, and now I have all these different rose petals that I can choose from to add to the design. So I could really make this look super realistic, like a bunch of different falling petals. The more I look at this though, the more I'm like, no, I'm not going to put petals falling down the page. That's too finicky. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete them. All right. I got a couple random stickers going. These stickers are way too big right now. That's fine. I'm gonna leave them too big right now because it's easier to see them all, and I'll resize them when I decide which ones I'm actually using. So I'm going to repeat this process until I get a couple images that I like for these stickers. So let's look for maybe an apple with a bite. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one. Now, all of the roses that I've picked so far are kind of a deeper red, and this apple is a much brighter, punchier red. And one strategy that I will often do to give myself a more cohesive look is filter these elements to make them match each other a little more. So with this apple, I'm going to click Edit Image at the top here. And I'm going to go to Filters. And I'm going to look for one that gives me more of that burgundy red tone. Like this one, Astro, looks pretty good. Ooh, yes. See how it matches the roses better now? That's really nitpicky, and you don't need to be that picky about your stickers, but when it works out and it's easy, great, I love it. What else do I want to have? Definitely a top hat. And this one, because it's such a simple image, I can actually change the colors myself. So I'm going to come up here to this red color that's like kind of more pink, and I'm going to click on it where there are these little adjustment bars. And I'm actually going to take this dropper tool to pick a color that's already in the design. So I know it will match. It's going to match perfectly because I'm going to steal this color. So I'm going to steal this red that's right in the middle of the apple. Gorgeous. Now it matches everything else. Love it. I've got some stuff picked out now. I'm going to resize stuff and move it around until I feel like it works on the page. And I know from experience that I always tend to make the stickers too big and then they take up too much space in the journal. So I'm going to zoom in to help me understand how big they're actually going to be. I mean, this is not life size, it's bigger, but I just know I always make them too big. So another way to find an element in Canva that's similar to one you already have, if you click the element and you come up here to where it says info, this little eye within a circle, I'm going to click that and I'm going to click see more like this. And it will generate for me a bunch more elements that are similar to the one that I've clicked. So I've got a bunch more red roses, and I'm just going to take a quick glance through and see if anything else catches my eye. What about this one? Ooh, yeah. Okay, that's is that the same one I had? If so, whatever. It's the one I want now. So most likely I'll end up using this like in a corner of the page. I'm going to go to position and I'm going to make sure that it's not too big. So I'm winging it here. I'm thinking 1.5 inches. That's honestly like a pretty big sticker. So maybe even like 1.2 is plenty. And then for this guy, let's make him a lot smaller too. There we go. That looks better. I'm gonna leave it there. Now I'm gonna make another page and I'm going to do the same thing for 2 other books. So typically I will review 2 books on each page. I'm doing 3 books on one page here because they're all in the same series, but the page across from it, I think I'm going to do Red Rising and First Lie Wins, which I read recently. So coming back to Goodreads to get the covers for those. All right. And again, I'm making them each 2 inches high. Great. Typically, I will only end up using between 4 and 6 stickers for each book that I review. I do typically shy away from using actual symbols from the book. Like obviously I could look up the Caraval symbol and print that out as a sticker and put it in my reading journal. And you are more than welcome to do that. I feel like there's some intellectual property issues, like maybe that could be a little sketchy in the copyright department, simply because my reading journal goes on the internet, you know, on our YouTube channel. So I shy away from doing that for the most part, but if you want to do that, then feel free. You could literally just Google the exact logo and copy and paste it into Canva. So that's an option. So, okay, I want this phoenix to be about the same size as the Pegasus. So I'm going to drag him over here to the Pegasus horse. And you can see Canva is giving me these little dotted lines to show me how it lines up with the other elements on the page. So if I drop it right here, it will line up to the top of the Pegasus perfectly. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to drag it until the bottom lines up as well. And now I know they're the same height, which I think would look best. One trick that I have is that when you're dragging an element around and Canva wants to snap it into place, it will show you all these little dotted lines and areas where it thinks it should go. That's why I'm dragging it and it looks kind of jerky, because Canva is snapping it into place to line up with these other elements. That's really helpful sometimes, but sometimes I just want to put it exactly where I think it should go. And the trick to doing that is to hold down the Control button on your keyboard. So when I hold down Control, those lines go away, and I can drag it freely and put it wherever I want on the page. So there we go. And that's about how much space I want it to take up. So now let's do the first lie wins. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm into that. A lot of the time I will try to squish them all onto one page to conserve paper. And it's okay to go right to the edge, because this box in Canva is 6 by 9, but a piece of computer paper is what, 8 by 11.5 or something? 8.5 by 11, what, you know, it's bigger than this. And I'll show you how I get it to be the right size. It's easier to cut them out if you don't do this, but save the trees, you know, like, here's a fun Canva trick I can show you. See how these 4 boxes are unevenly spaced? If I select them all by dragging a box across all 4 and letting go, I can come up here to position, and I can space them evenly. I can space them evenly vertically, horizontally, or tidy up will just make it all nice and even. So look how pretty they just space themselves out perfectly. Next, I'm going to show you how I can use Canva to create an entire monthly spread. In my reading journal, I like to track my stats month to month, and I typically just draw them by hand or use stickers, things like that. But I thought it would be fun for my July recap to create the spread entirely using Canva. I often use Canva to create little graphs and pie charts that I can print out and put in these spreads in my reading journal, but this time I'm going to use Canva for the whole thing. So you'll get to see all my July stats. I'm going to create all of the elements and stickers on Canva, and then I'll print them out and stick them in my journal. And at the end of the video, you'll see what that looks like. So let's start screen recording. All right, my idea for this spread is to do kind of like a cool retro computer theme. And I want it to be very cohesive and have a whole bunch of boxes that I can put on the page to type my stats into. And then all I will need to do is cut them out and put them in the journal, you know? So instead of just using elements like I did for the stickers, I'm going to use a little bit of a different strategy. I'm going to Canva Home, and up here it says, what will you design today? And I'm going to search for retro computer. You can see I've just done this. I'm going to search retro computer just to get me started and give me some ideas. Look at all of these gorgeous templates that you could start from. I will often do this and grab one that has colors that jump out at me, or the style looks really nice. For this case, I know I'm going to want a bunch of different types of boxes. So I've already decided I'm going to use this one, but I'll show you how I found it. Once I searched retro computer, I went up to Canva templates, and then I went to category, education, resource type, presentations. And the reason I chose presentations is because most of these will have multiple slides that all have different elements that fit the same style. It's just an easy way for me to find a bunch of elements that look similar. So this one, class, that says class syllabus, this caught my eye. You can see when I hover over it, Canva shows me all the different slides, and I can see that there are a bunch of different types of boxes. So I think this is gonna be perfect. I don't love the colors, but I can fix that and I'll show you how. So I'm going to click on this and I'm gonna click customize this template. And here it is. I can see all these cute elements. Now, in my reading journal, I'm not going to print out an entire page like this. I'm just gonna print out the elements. So the background can still be white because the background will be the page of my reading journal, you know? So I'm just going to copy and paste the elements that I like from this presentation into my design that already fits the dimensions of my reading journal. I'm gonna go ahead and delete the background just so it's not in my way. And I'm gonna grab everything in this box and paste it over here. And I have this cute box, oh my gosh, with this cute computer style, you know? The only thing is I don't love this color scheme. I want something like very girly. There's multiple ways that I can change the colors all at once. In Elements, I am going to search pastel because I want some cutesy girly colors. I could choose a photo to work off of. I'm gonna see what they have in graphics. Okay, here we go. This disco ball is the vibe that I'm going for, color-wise. So I'm gonna grab this disco ball. I'm going to right-click it and go all the way to the bottom where it says Apply Colors to Page. And it's going to make my page fit the colors of this disco ball. And I can do it a couple times to mix up the colors. Cute. Okay, I'm gonna stick with that for now. I'm gonna leave this bowling ball here, or disco ball, whatever. But I just want the background to be white. It doesn't need to be colored in because I'm not printing that. I'm just going to mess around here because I actually don't know 100% what I'm doing. And if I come across a tip that I think is helpful, then I'll let you know. So one thing that's coming up is that these are all separate elements. So as I'm trying to move them around, they are wiggling away from each other. So I can click group to make them all one element and drag them around more easily so they all stay in the same proportion to each other. And then if I do want to change any individual part of this, I can just ungroup them to do that. All right, for the genres box, I'm going to put in a little bar graph. And the way that I do that is by going to Elements, scrolling down until I see charts and tables, frames, all this stuff. I'm gonna go to charts, and here I can add in all different types of graphs and pretty statistic moments. Some of these are really cool. I never use these more crazy ones, but they look cool. But for this, I think a bar graph is gonna look the best. I'm thinking a little sideways one like this. Cute. Gonna make it fit inside my box, hopefully. And then here is the table where I can enter in all the statistics. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all these statistics, I will show you. I get them off of my StoryGraph stats. So I track my reading first on Goodreads and then also in StoryGraph. So coming over here to a new tab, I'm just gonna open StoryGraph. And then up here where it says stats, it gives you all kinds of cool stats about your reading. So I'm specifically looking at July, so I'm in the right year, 2024. And you can import your Goodreads data into StoryGraph, so you don't have to start from scratch. You can download all of your Goodreads data and just upload it into StoryGraph, and it will have all your stuff, all your info. July. And it gives me all these cute graphs, 10 books, 3,958 pages. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. It was a good reading month. And one thing that I've done in the past is use like a snipping tool or screenshot these graphs and print them out to put them in my reading journal. But if I did that, they wouldn't match. The colors wouldn't match, you know. So coming down here to genres, I'm going to recreate this bar graph in my document over here. Now in this box, I think I'm going to put my favorite, the cover of my favorite book and the cover of my least favorite book. Let's not be negative. Let's just do a favorite book. And my favorite book of July was by far Gideon the Ninth. So I'm going to come back to Goodreads and grab the cover of Gideon the Ninth. Okay, I'm pretty happy with these boxes. I think I'm going to keep it like this. And then I'm going to add one more page, and I'm going to add a bunch of random pixel art things that I may or may not add to the page, but I want to have the option for a little extra decoration. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I feel pretty good about this. Now, to make everything print out the same proportionate size, there's like 1,000 ways you could do this. And the way that I'm about to do it is probably not even the easiest or smartest or best way, but it's how I do it, okay? So what I do, creating a new design that is printer page size, 8.5 by 11. And then I'm going to copy everything. Yes, I realized I didn't have to squish these into the one page. Just leave me alone, okay? And then paste it over here. And see how it's still in the 6 by 9 grouping. But also I'm going to put it in the middle of the page so nothing gets caught at the edge and then it wouldn't print. Put it right in the middle. To print it, I just come up here to share. I go to download. I'm going to download it as a PDF print. All pages. I'm leaving it. I'm gonna stop messing with it. I can mess with this stuff for literally hours and drive myself crazy, but perfection is not the goal, okay? It doesn't need to be extra perfect in every way. I think this is gonna turn out really cute. So, and I just print this on sticker paper that I buy online that is compatible with my inkjet printer. And that way when I cut it out, it already has the sticky backing and it just becomes its own little sticker. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the reading journal, and I'll catch you back here in a second to show you how it all looks in my actual journal. Here is how the stickers look in the completed journal spread. I ended up using every single sticker and I'm so happy with the way that it turned out. I think it looks so nice. I especially love the hemathis flower. I just think my eye goes right to it and I think it looks so nice. And I did this little circus pattern along the bottom edge of the Caraval spread. And I decided to line up the covers on the left side, and that way I could give the individual rating for each one of those books. And I think it looks so nice. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Let me show you the monthly spread now. So here is the July monthly spread, and I really like how this turned out. It was so much faster than the spreads that I drew by hand. And I think that the impact is really nice. It looks very moody and dreamlike, you know? I did notice today that Storygraph has new stats that I could have added to this spread, and I'm kicking myself. Of course, they would come out with new stats the very next day. It includes like a percentage of how much more you read this month compared to last month, and pages and books. And I wish that I had seen that in time to include it in this spread, but I can always add that to a future spread. But I think this spread turned out really nice. I used all the pixel stickers. I wish that the colors were a little more vibrant. That's something I always forget when I'm designing on the computer. The colors look much more saturated on screen than they tend to print out on the sticker paper. But like I said, I think it still looks really nice. It gives it more of that kind of moody tone. So I think it turned out great. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some helpful tips and tricks out of this Canva reading journal video. The next reading journal video will be a normal update. And if you'd like to see all of the spreads that I've created so far, our last reading journal video is a mid-year flip through where I reflect on every spread, how it's working for me, and if I plan to continue it into the future. Once again, please like this video if you liked it. Thank you for subscribing and following along, and let us know what you'd like to see next from us. Until our next video, see you soon.